that we have got, my goodness, we talk about Animaniacs, we talk about Justice League, we talk about Pinky and the Brain, Thundercat, Static Shock. There are hundreds and hundreds of characters about to take the stage right now. I will be out amongst you getting some questions, so get your questions ready. Just a quick reminder though, we want to make sure that if you have a question, just try to address it to one of the individuals, because if we go the whole way, I'll probably be one of those where we go down the line here from everybody. But just in case, because that will take up a lot of time, so if you can just sort of address it to one individual, that'd be great. Look, let's, why don't we bring them on in here. Jess Harnell, LaMarr, Maurice, and Paulsen.
There are almost as many of us as they are of them.
We may have a couple more cameo appearances. There may be some other folks showing up. But look, the right amount of mics for the right amount of guests.
That's very cool.
All right, so we're going to be talking. First of all, I do want to go down the line. So welcome, gents.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you. You guys having an amazing terrific con?
Oh, we love it, man.
No, we're having a terrific con. Jesus, right in the name.
I love how you guys found out about this secret panel. Thank you for showing up.
Are we going to do the entire panel? Oh, we're going to do that.
Please.
I
think we should. I think we should.
Oh,
We've already started with a Shatner. We're not even going to
We are going to have a shout off.
Why don't we go get shout
And
out?
then afterwards, we're going to have a falk off.
you can do that one on your own.
Before I lose complete control of this panel, and I'm definitely going to lose complete control of this panel, I do want to go down and just sort of just talk to everybody here. So I do have a question for everybody. I'm going to break the rule that I just gave to them, but I do want to find out, what were some of your early influences in voiceover? Who were some of the folks that you were grooving on? And then if you could sort of tell us how you got into voiceover acting, maybe some of your first gigs.
Who wants to start?
Robbie, what up? Actually, thank you. First of all, hi, Joe. Thanks for
How are
having
you?
me.
So we're going to be talking again later, too.
Pleasure to be here. Hi, Logan. Hey, Adam. Hey, pal. How are you, buddy? Good. Nice to see you. And you brought your big brother and big sister with you this morning. I say. Yeah, I was born tonight, but not last night. I know how it works. I probably I would venture to say like everybody else here. I moved to, hey,
It's Larry.
I told you we were going to have I told you. Not at all. Wow, that's pretty cool. I don't know about Mr. Kenney in particular, but these other three gentlemen have, I've known them for decades, and I know that in my case, as with theirs, I came to LA ostensibly to do live action and music, which I was doing, and then the opportunity came up to, wrap it up, I think he means my career. And so I had the opportunity to audition for things, and it was just another way for me to ply my trade. It took me about 2 seconds to figure out it was the best gig in Hollywood for a non-celebrity talent because, well, look at, I got all this hair, and nobody cared, this gray hair rather, no one cared what I looked like on the first gig when I was 28, and no one still cares what I look like. And
even though you're beautiful, buddy.
the folks who are up here and people whom we work with have been able to, give life to a lot of critters, and it's never ever been based on the way we look, which is part of the deal and on camera. So, and my influences, like everybody got Mal Blanc, Peter Sellers, Jonathan Winters, Lucille Ball, all these comedic geniuses, Red Skelton, and absolute freaking truth, folks on the stage, without question.
What was the question?
How'd you get started?
How did I get started?
Here's your origin story.
I got started, okay? Wrap it up. Yes. For me, I was a cartoonaholic even as a little kid. Cartoons were my escape. I had somewhat of an unhappy home. It'll be in my new book. I had somewhat of an unhappy home. Not a great book to follow on my friend Mr. Paulsen. By the way, come back at 1 o'clock because he's going to be shocking in depth about his new book,
Yep.
in which I appear at
1 o'clock.
frequently.
Yes, it is.
No.
I think it says two in
It's
the
the Maurice LaMarche story, it's
program.
told by Rob Paulsen.
So cartoons were my escape, and Bugs Bunny was like the first stuff I tried to imitate. The first successful imitation I had was the vulture. And I walked to school doing that. When I discovered I could do that.
No wonder you got beat up all the time.
What was wrong with me? Lots of trips to the school fairs.
That's when Maurice got beat up again. Was he doing the vulture? Yes.
So, it was just that, just me absorbing television, and my early influences, of course, were Mel, Alan Reed. I loved Fred Flintstone, his take on Fred Flintstone. I mean, that was actual sitcom acting in cartoon form.
That was prime time.
It was prime time. First work, I got to work actually with the cast of Second City on a cartoon in 1978 called Take Me Up to the Ball Game. Oh, yeah, no, Easter Fever was the first one. That was the second one. And Garrett Morris was in it, and Catherine O'Hara, John Candy, Joe Flaherty. And it was this Canadian primetime cartoon special. And I was 19 years old. And this lady, Arlene Berman, pulled me off of the Yuck Yucks stand-up stage and gave me like 7 parts in this thing. That's it. And then from there, I rolled down here, got Inspector Gadget as my first cartoon gig. And, it was great. And I started in stand-up, and this was the happiest accident of, because I was going for the big enchilada of stand-up comedy and getting my own sitcom. And I won the lottery, but instead of winning the lottery in one lump sum, I won in the 26 annual payments. And you know what? I couldn't even count payments.
Phil?
I don't believe in voiceover.
But it believes in you.
I think that the Illuminati use to control us. Oh, sure, people draw things and other people speak the voices. That makes no sense. Actually, I became an actor by mistake. My high school was doing a play based on a book that I loved. And I went to audition for this minor character in the book and wound up getting cast in the lead. And from that first moment performing on stage, I was hooked. And it's strange because like Rob was saying, just like I'm trying to be an actor, and sort of became a voice actor by happenstance, I thought. But then I stopped and I realized my very first professional acting gig was on a cartoon when I was in high school. I got hired to be on the Mr. T cartoon. Because it was one of the few shows back then using real kids as the kids' voices. It was bad. It was, like...
I pity the fool says it's bad.
Yeah, 3 seasons, we never recorded with Mr. T once.
Neither did he.
No, that was really small. Yeah, like, the company that made this was like a company who looked at Hanna-Barbera and said, wow, that looks expensive. How can we save some money? We had a director who would direct the kids, because none of us had done it before, but he made sure he said, you've got to end every line up. It gives it energy. Every single line. So, I'm so sorry your dog died. No, end it up. I'm so sorry your dog died. There you go. And I mean, it wasn't until probably 20 years after that, I'd been doing improv in college and with the Groundlings, and then started doing, TV acting and movie stuff. I think it was after I left Mad TV, I really decided, let me try doing cartoons, and it was just a good fit.
Jess?
Well, I know what you're all thinking, and that's that I got my start in Guns N' Roses tribute band, and you're not far off. I started basically as a session singer, which was singing jingles. I sang jingles for Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Reebok and all these things, and I was always just good at changing my voice and manipulating my voice to sound like different people. So I'd get hired to do what they call sound likes all the time. And then I'd be on the microphone doing stupid voices, and then once once in a while people would say, those stupid voices you do, why don't you try reading the copy? So I read the copy, and I go, new Budweiser in the cold can, the taste of the Rockies, or whatever. And they go, yeah, that sounds good, we're gonna use you for that too. And I thought, okay, good, that's $200. I'm like, so then what happened was, like Rob said, we're not limited in this occupation about what we look like. Because if we were, I would only ever get to play a pirate, a rock star, the Cowardly Lion, and Jesus. So what's kind of cool is that voiceover is the only job where you can play the father, the son, and the dog on the same day at the same time in 10 minutes and then go get Chinese food, so that's why I'm interested. My influences were basically, I come from a music background, again, I know it's hard to believe, and I always equated voiceover to singing, but when I first showed up doing voiceover, the first big show, my initial thing, the first thing I did was Splash Mountain, the ride at Disneyland and Disney World, if you guys have been on that. I'm basically the whole ride. I'm like the vultures and Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear, and I'm the crocodile, and I'm the geese, and I'm the turtle, and I'm Brer Accountant. I don't know, I'm Brer. And so I did that, and that thing went, and I thought, well, that was cool, but then I went back to singing. And a year later, I did the one for Disney World, and they said, hey, can you do Roger Rabbit? Because we're having some, contractual stuff with Charlie Fleischer. And I said, yeah, right, contractual stuff. And I said, wink, wink. And I said, yeah, man, sure, I can do that. And I think I can do that. And I went home and worked on it, and I got that, and that was cool. And then the guy over there wrote this letter, and he said, you guys told the agents, and he said, you guys should sign this guy or you're going to regret it. And I thought that was really nice. I thought they did that for everybody, but apparently they didn't. So they signed me up, and the first big show I got was Animaniacs. But what was cool is I didn't know enough in my ignorance to be intimidated by Rob Paulsen and Maurice and Tress MacNeille and all these great Frank Welker and some of the greatest in the business.
I'll never forget how Tress greeted you. Who is that idiot?
That's how she still greets me. And what was good though, what I remember fondly is my first voiceover session with Rob. We went out, we were standing in the foyer, and they had a coffee machine, and he's standing there, and I didn't know, what this, So I was trying to think of something clever to say to Rob, and the first thing I said to him was, I went, hey, I think it's really cool how you make your voice sound like people that you're not in real life. And that's how our relationship began, and here we are all these years later, but that's my story.
Who is that idiot?
Look, I refuse to follow that. Well, this is how we got our start. Is that what okay, well, my big influences, like everybody else here, were Mel Blanc and Dawes Butler. Maybe Dawes Butler, people like that.
People that know that's what they look like.
Yeah. Rocky and Bullwinkle was my favorite cartoon. I started out doing voices around the house, like you guys probably all did. Sure. My mom tells me from the time I could talk, I was mimicking the cartoon shows on TV and stuff. And to this day, I wish I had a nickel for it. Well, I do. For every teacher or school principal or authority figure, any kind, said to me, Larry, I hope when you grow up, you find a way to make a living with these little voices that you do. Little dumb jokes. I did.
You folks have some questions for this distinguished panel in front of us?
We love you.
I'm going to do the whole Phil Donahue thing. I will just get my steps in today. So if you can tell them your name first, too, and then whatever question you have.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Morning, guys. One question real quick for Mr. Kenney first.
Yes.
Did you ever find out what a samouflage is?
You and I are the only ones who know that reference. In the outtakes for Thundercats, has everybody heard the outtakes on the internet? Okay.
Yeah.
And there's one that, these are actual, well, anytime you get a bunch of actors in a room, or on a stage, or anything, and they're recording something, somebody makes a mistake, of course,
We beat them up.
Yeah, beat the hell out of them. But vocally. And for years and years, all down through history, the only people who ever heard those things were the people in the room, the actors, the recording engineer, the director, whoever. And then I think probably, I've always thought the recording engineers probably keep outtakes, and then when they're having a Christmas party, for example, they say, hey, everybody's stoned or drunk, and hey, you guys want to hear what the Thundercats session sounded like? Stuff that nobody's ever heard. So not even here, they're on the internet. And long story short, there's one reference to a camouflage. in Thundercats, one episode, Panthro says something about, I'm trying to find the Samoflage that fits the Thunder Tank, something like that. And some dummy in the background says, what the is the Samoflage? What the F is the Samoflage? And I still don't know what it is, but to this day, believe it or not, in New York City, there's a cab driver. I've never met him, I've never been in his cab. But once every 4 years or so, I'll be walking up Fifth Avenue, and I'll hear this, and I know his horn. And as he goes by, he goes, I'm the busiest Samoflage! And I always try to, I gotta meet that guy someday, but I probably never will.
It's Joe.
We now have the answer. What's your, you said you had a real question.
My actual question was for the entire group.
We told you not to do that. I'm the only one that got to do that.
What was your favorite memory of all of your recordings? Like one moment or one line or just one person you worked with?
So basically,
This is it.
so basically, we just asked everybody, describe your life.
Of the thousands of years.
Yeah, sum that up.
You know,
Who wants to grab that?
Well, I have one kind of funny one I love. Earl Hammond, who played Mumra on Thundercats, for those of you who are familiar with Thundercats, played the character Mumra, who was this guy who would evolve into an enormous bad person, talk like this, you know.
Like a politician.
Yes. And if you know the character, he would start talking, ancient spirits of evil, and this drool comes out of his mouth.
That's sexy.
Steve Mumra. Earl actually did that when he was recording the thing. He would start, ancient spirits of evil. So every time we'd all look ahead at the next page, and every time there was a call for Earl to do that, we'd all go, next page, and we'd all start backing up. Like Gallagher, they'd have to put plastic sheets splash. But I've always remembered that.
Got a question back here?
Well, first I wanted to say, Larry, they actually did a little tribute to that outtake in the 2002 or whatever, the newer Thundercats.
2012, yeah.
But my question is actually for Phil. Phil, you said that you were cast as a lead and it was based on a book that you really liked. What was the book and why do you like it so much?
the book was The Phantom Tollman. That's a stage version of the kids' book. And it's funny because you don't hear much about it these days. I guess because there's no wizards in it. But it's a great book. I think it encourages, thinking and verbal skills. I carry it with me, everywhere I live. And part of it was just that I got cast as Tok, the watchdog, and began the play alone on stage, giving a monologue to the audience, and just standing there in that spotlight, at 12. Was a completely transformative experience.
As they say, it's the truth. The first one's free, man, but after that,
Yeah.
Phil used the perfect word. You're hooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one more thing, not to interrupt, but Phil also continues if not every week, every month, to do improv. Is still involved, and often people ask us, God, say things, and I accept the compliment in which it's given. I can't wait till I'm like you, that sort of thing. And the inference is that, you've made it and you just kind of sit back. We all continue to work and get better. I had Phil on my podcast years ago, the very first time he was on, and he truncated the podcast saying, I'm so sorry I gotta go because I'm doing rehearsal with the groundlings and teaching and all that all the time. It never stops, and that's how you get to be like that, because it's not about the sprint, it's about the long
Right.
race. But since he was 12.
Well, and also, what you were talking about, Rob, Rob's directing now, and it's amazing, to be doing this. And I think the way you keep doing it and keep enjoying it is to keep moving your bar.
Learning,
right. Keep it growing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I suppose we could just I did this one voice in 1987 and I'm just going to do that.
And that's what's good about these, because here you have people who are, and we're in a representative group, but we're not the only ones who are fortunate enough to Billy West, Tress McNeil, Tara, Jen Hale, on and on, Dee, Frank, everybody. We are incredibly, not only fortunate, but I'm telling you, we all have worked with this group of people hundreds of times in some cases, and they always get better. They never stop. So it's not a surprise that Tress did 600 episodes of The Simpsons alone. She's really, really, really good. And now, she would hit me with screw it. At 68 years old, she's 100 times better than she was at 58. I'm telling you, I've known Tress since she was a cocktail waitress in the marina.
She still does that for fun.
Yeah. And she just gets better. Billy's the same way. DiMaggio's the same way. It never stops.
You should
question.
Cocktail dresses.
Yeah.
Your name?
Okay. Hi, my name is Deshaun. I wanted to ask a question to Rob Paulsen. Is there any advice that you can give to starting voice actors that's interested like me?
Go,
Yes. I would essentially learn to act, like Phil said. It should be, I believe, and I believe I speak on behalf of all of us, it should be small V, large A, voice, act. The reason you like Mr. Kenney's work is because he's a terrific actor. Those shows that and characters that don't, they sell a few action figures and that's fine. And you're all looking at people here who have been lucky enough to be involved in the deeply capitalistic side of this business. I'm one of them.
We like the money.
I'm a rich man of more, which is way better. However, I would submit that the reason you like any of the characters we've done is precisely because what Phil said. We've been doing this a long time and we never stop. And the same Jones that I have to work at this age is exactly the one I had at 10 or 12. As far as reference, D. Bradley Baker, our fantastic pal, who is stupid talented, has a website called, very simply, iwanttobea.voiceactor.com. And it gives you a lot of really good information from somebody who does it every single day and explains to you how a lot of us got to be this way. But it's pretty simple, honestly, and that is to say, play. Just have fun. And bounce stuff off the wall, do it because it makes your soul happy.
I got to throw in, don't forget
Please
Rob's podcast, Rob Paulsen's Talking Tunes is amazing. It's a great source of information. There's also one called Real Buzz Weekly that features long, in-depth interviews with all of us, and it asks every question I'm sure you'd want to ask, man, if we had the time to answer them all, and you get a lot of great stuff there. And it's all free, and it's all right there. So the only excuse for not getting it is if you don't want to pick up your computer and get to it, so get to it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
And also, if you send Phil a check for $10,000,
That's how you make it in this business.
Yes.
I do want to.
Hey guys, my name's Sean.
hang on just a second. Phil had one more thing.
Wait, hold on a second.
Hold that thought.
Because there's something I think, because a lot of times we talk to people about, getting started, and we say, it's about the acting. And I think for maybe some people that's not clear, and I'd like to give an example. There was, I'm working on a project called Goblins. We did a Kickstarter thing, and one of the prizes was a one-on-one workshop. And I worked with a guy who had a great voice, and he was starting out, and he had a demo of his commercial work. Him doing, this is, here at General Hospital. He was doing that sort of stuff. But then he also had what he called his character demo, and it was all impressions of established characters.
Cartoon characters?
And I tell you, his commercial work was so much better than his cartoon work because he wasn't playing a character. He was imitating someone else's performance. And when we say that the acting is important, what that means is, what's up, Doc? I can do a Bugs Bunny impression, but that's not me playing Bugs Bunny.
That's really good.
When we brought back Samurai Jack for the 5th season.
Samurai Back, it was the sequel.
Samurai Back. Mako, who originally played Akuda, passed away. Greg Baldwin took over the role. Now, Greg does a voice that sounds a lot like Mako's, but more importantly, what he did was, I'm not going to try to fool you. I'm gonna play this character.
There you go.
Just like if he was taking over the role of Hamlet. You don't watch tapes of Olivia and go, I'm gonna do exactly what he did.
Great analogy.
So it's about finding that character. And if you're gonna, try to copy one of our characters, that's not enough. You have to be able to play it.
Yeah.
That's where the acting comes
Yeah,
in.
building character, one more thing is just funny that I love, because, we all meet a lot of folks who want to do voiceover, and, we're living proof that you can do it. Because, if the thing about us, we were dedicated, we worked really hard, so if you're dedicated and you work really hard, maybe we'll be working with you one day, But this one guy I met that I thought was so awesome, he goes, yeah, I really want to do voiceovers. And I said, okay, cool, you got a lot of characters? He goes, well, I have 3 voices. And I go, 3 voices? And I said, okay, what are they? He goes, well, there's this one, which is like my normal one. Then there's this one, which is like my lower one. Then there's this one, which is like my higher one. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. You gotta stretch a little further than that, but that's a true story. I love it.
Sorry, John.
I just usually tell people, no, don't become a voice actor. I don't need the competition. Tough enough already.
Construction's booming.
Gary, my question's for Jess. Growing up, you were wacko for me.
Yeah, I still am, dude.
Yeah,
He's wacko.
I'm not even wearing any pants now. I took them off as soon as I sat down.
What's crazy is now my daughter, you're Mr. Cedric. What's it like knowing, you're getting generations now of kids just falling in love with what you do?
Dude, that's a beautiful question, and I appreciate it. The nice thing for all of us, and I know I speak for all of us, is that, we get guys like yourself, Sean, real nice people, coming up and saying, hey man, you were my childhood, because 25 years ago you were watching Animaniacs, right? Well, 5 years ago, kids, and even now, kids are watching Sophia the First and Doc McStuffins and all these other shows that I've done. These guys have all done the same thing. And in 25 years, if they roll me into one of these things in a chair, I'm still going to look freaking awesome, dude. They're going to go, you were my childhood. And I'm going to go, God bless us, everyone, because it's such an awesome privilege. When everybody says, man, you were my childhood, I say, man, I can't believe your parents let me in your house. But it's such an awesome gift, the fact that we got to make a difference for you and for your little one at a time and became part of a happy memory or a happy bank of memories that you guys will always have. There's no greater gift, and we don't take it for granted ever, man.
Right.
That's the truth.
I love the fact, exactly right. I love the fact that you're entertained by what we do. I love entertaining people. But in the case of Thundercats, for example, which was a different kind of show in a lot of ways, and people taught me that over the years with letters, like even before the internet, I used to get letters from people, and now, of course, with the internet, I email constantly from people who say, they tell me in varying degrees of detail the kind of bad childhood they had, some of them, And I know what they're talking about. I know what they're talking about. People say to me things like, and these are 40-year-old people who say, when I was a kid, well, things weren't so good, but when I went in my room for 30 minutes and watched Thundercats, all my troubles went away. That means a lot to me. That's a legacy that I protect very carefully.
Yeah.
Well, Jess, we appreciate your time being here today. We thank you for that. But my goodness, decades of entertainment, just keeping us all entertained, keeping us focused, and continue to do so. And more Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs on the way too, right?
So we've been told.
Okay. Folks, give it up. It's amazing.
Come see us. We'd love to talk to you. We're downstairs doing
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Joe.
John Wesley Shipp is up next, and Rob's going to be back at 1 o'clock, so make sure you're back.